Hi there, and welcome to Chapter 5. We're going to be looking at descriptive and causal research designs in Chapter 5. Now, we're going to be looking at first the advantages and disadvantages, purpose and advantages primarily, of survey research designs. Respondents in a survey research are going to be able to be as large as possible, which is going to be an attribute that allows generalizability of our results to the overall population. They are also going to allow us to distinguish smaller differences based on subgroups within our samples, are easy to administer, and have the ability to measure multiple factors in one setting. In contrast, the disadvantage may be the difficulty of developing accurate survey instruments that are actually getting at the constructs that we're interested in, and the inaccuracy of construct definitions or measurement, and the type of data that can actually wind up being collected. Now, there are several types of survey methods. One is person administered, in which there is significant face-to-face interaction between the interviewer and the respondent. The second is a telephone-administered survey. In these surveys, the telephone is used to conduct the question and answer exchange. And computers are used in many ways in the telephone interviews. CADI or computer-aided telephone interviews. The data recording and number selection, so the random digit dialing for it, to ensure the generalizability of the results. And then a third type of a survey is a self-administered survey in which the respondents themselves read the questions and provide responses. Online surveys right now are the most common form of data collection, with about 60% of all data collection being completed with online surveys. Now, what are the factors that influence the choice of the survey methods? Basically, you're looking at both situational factors and respondent factors. Situational factors include available resources, how quickly we need to have the data collected, the time frame, and data quality requirements. And the research must consider the overall questions like how difficult is it going to be to complete the tasks that we're asking the respondents to complete? What stimuli, like products or ads, are going to be needed to evoke the responses from respondents? And how much information is needed from the respondent? And all of those factors as well are going to implement or impact which type of data collection we're going to be doing. Ultimately, the key components come down to the incidence rates, the degree of survey participation, and we want to maximize the quantity and the quality of the data while minimizing, obviously, the cost and the time taken to complete the survey requirements. There are always trade-offs amongst the issues of quantity and quality and cost and time. Now, in explaining the experiments and the types of variables used in causal designs. Now, in an experimental design, we're getting at causation, and so what we're doing is we are controlling for the impact of external variables. So, in a typical experiment, the independent variable is manipulated or changed in some way, and the impact on another variable, the dependent variable, is measured and evaluated. And during this time, we attempt to control for all other variables that might impact this relationship. So after the manipulation, the researcher measures the dependent variable to see if it has changed. If it has, then the attribution is based on the independent variable. To conduct causal research, the researcher must understand the four types of variables in experimental designs: the independent variable, the dependent variable, the extraneous variables, and the control variables, as well as the randomization of test subjects and the role that theory plays in creating the experiments. The most important goal for any experiment is to determine which relationships exist among the different variables, independent and dependent, and the functional cause-effect relationships require measurement of systematic change in one variable over another variable. So that's the key components of experimental design and causal relationships. And we can get at these either via ANOVA in our measurement or via dummy variable regression, as alluded to in a previous video. So in a test market, where we're going is actually conducting an experiment or quasi-experiment in a natural field market. And we're looking at controlling this via either a controlled test market, electronic test markets, simulated test markets, or web-based TV test markets. The data gathered from the test markets provides the researchers and the practitioners with information regarding attitudes and preferences, purchase intentions, habits, patterns, and the demographic profiles of those that are actually purchasing. And we're able to conduct these via the scanner card data and the information that we already have about respondents or about consumers via their scanner data and what you filled out to get those preferred shopper cards and the actual purchases that you make in the stores. So that lets us take a look at acceptance levels of advertising, advertising effectiveness, direct response promotion effectiveness, the importance of shelf placement and or brand placement along an aisle. And that concludes the basic summary of Chapter 5.